Well, good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome once again to the Hager Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly. Hosted once again, we're live at the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Rex Brewer and Dane Fuelling. And Dane, I did see the show schedule, the blog that you sent me, and lots of interviews tonight. And we had a great time on Friday. I keep thinking it was Saturday, but it was Friday, and it was kind of a whirlwind. You and I spent a lot of time on the road and on the air, and I don't think this week gets much better, does it?
It's a little bit different night with a couple more nights. Friday won't be nearly as long as it was this last week. But when you start talking about conference tournaments, you know you're getting close to that state tournament. And, of course, we've got two of them on Friday. We've got the ACAC on Saturday. We've got the NE8. But we've got a whole boatload of dual meets in between now and then. It sounds like we may pick up an additional one to make up for Saturdays. Talking to Coach Curry yesterday, I asked him, "Are you texting me from Arrowhead?" Because was that a year or two ago? Remember they finished up at the AC Jet Invite and then they drove all the way to Kansas City.
No, I didn't.
They're big Chiefs fans. Anyways, he said that since they canceled that and they still have 2 points open on their schedule, they're looking to fill in with some of those teams, obviously. So it sounds like Adams Central trying to line up Dwenger and Huntington North for a duel on Wednesday, which directly conflicts with our plans to do South Adams and Norwell on Wednesday. So we'll see what that looks like and which one goes on YouTube and which one goes on the air. But it sounds like Adams Central going to try to get a few. So it kind of spoils the whole senior night dynamic, doesn't it? You thought you were down, and now here you are back again. Whoops, sorry, we'll do it again.
We'll have to have a neutral site so you're not just like your last home match.
Well, hopefully we have better internet luck than what I had on Wednesday night. I mistakenly brought the wrong hotspot with me, but thankfully my phone filled in for us.
Well, from Adams Central, I mean, I've only got one option that I can use unless they cough up the old secret password for the internet.
We got blocked again on YouTube from our Adams Central broadcast. Apparently the Eagles are very specific about who can play their songs because they play that one Eagles song during pre-match, and it ends up getting our broadcast blocked after the fact on YouTube because of copyright law. So David's got to go in there and cut that splice out of our pregame so that he can continue to leave the feed up there.
Well, I'm glad that our advertisers get their ads heard once at least before we got cut out there.
So they cut out those 3 minutes or whatever. Nat and I had a good time, though, and it sounds like you guys had a pretty good, entertaining match. There was a little bit of I felt in your broadcast there was a slight moment there where you weren't sure what Belmont was going to end up doing, and then the seniors showed up and some of the leaders showed up and Belmont took care of business. But
at one point AJ leaned and looked at me and he said, "This could get ugly." When we were at commercial, I said, "Yeah, I knew that before we sat down."
Now we don't have any wrestling tomorrow night. Hard to believe, but Tuesday. We'll have Belmont at Carroll. I believe you and I and AJ are all going to be up there. Looking forward to that one.
And that is YouTube once again?
That is on YouTube. There's been a lot of talk. I saw somebody joking on Twitter that the word peacock has to be trending. Last night's playoff game was peacock only with the Bills
I couldn't find it. I thought I had peacock. I had it on my phone, but I wanted to watch the game on the phone.
And Tuesday's IU-Purdue game is peacock only. So we're going to have that on the radio, 92.7 FM. You can watch or you can listen to Belmont and Carroll on the YouTube channel on Tuesday, so that's where the coverage will be. Then on Wednesday, we'll have Norwell at South Adams. Right now, that's planned for the radio. One of the wrestling matches will be on the radio. The other one will be on YouTube at some point on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we'll have the ACAC Wrestling Tournament live from Bluffton. Right now, EventLink says that tournament starts at 6 o'clock. Last year when you and I were there on Friday, we didn't leave till about 11:30.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right? 11:15?
It was late, I think.
So that'll be an interesting one. And then Saturday we'll have the NE8 wrestling. And Rex, something that we are implementing here at WZBD for this postseason that we want to make sure that our listeners are listening to. The next couple of weekends on Saturdays, the first round of all of these tournaments is going to end up on YouTube, and that's because we've just got so many conflicting things on the air, and we want to be able to use our technology. So if you're looking for the opening round, the quarterfinals of the NE8 tournament on Saturday, tune into YouTube, WZBD Radio. Find it on there. When the first round is over, we'll go off the air for a few minutes on the YouTube. We'll end the broadcast. We'll switch our software, and then we'll jump on for the semifinals on 92.7 FM. And I know I listened to Steve. Steve is so much happier on Saturday mornings. I listened to him. He got to play his golden oldies, and he was so happy. But when all he has to do is play Coach's Show and wrestling, he doesn't quite get that love. So.
Easier said than done. So.
And then, of course, next week you can join us on Sunday. We will be live, I believe, at a very slight delay, maybe 7:02, 7:03, because we have the 5 o'clock girls high school basketball tournament draw for the IHSAA. That begins at 5, and that is a 2-hour show with your pal, Bob Lovell.
I photographed pretty well with Bob. I had to hold my stomach in while Kristen took our picture.
Now, we want to give you a preview of what we got coming up for the show here, and we're going to talk a lot about what happened on Friday with the girls' state finals. We want to play you a little highlight clip here from Alexandra Bostic's final. She needed a takedown in the final 40 seconds. This is a young lady who has wrestled at nationals, reached the finals of national tournaments, and somebody that eventually I think you're probably going to see in the Olympics here from Indiana.
Bostic trying to turn her over. 39 seconds left to go. Allen takes a look at the clock. Bostic's going to stick a leg in. Try to put both legs in, and then she's going to go and power half that side. And she's going to turn her. She got one count.
That?
She got one count, but Allen comes up and out. Allen's got to escape. She's tied this thing up with 22 seconds left to go. Let's see who's got the guts left in him here. 17 seconds left to go. Who's got it in him? Who's got one takedown to get here? Wrist control. They're going to hang on here. Bostic in shoots a double leg. She's going to power it. She's going for it. Spins around 5 seconds. Allen's able to counter. Headlocks her. And Bostic pops her head out with no time left on the clock.
Wow. What an ending to that one, as I thought we were going to see quite an upset. Of course, we saw a big upset later on in the evening. Those highlights are coming. We've also got interviews with several state champs. We've got an interview with the Mental Attitude Award winner in Rose Kaplan, along with a couple of the Jay County girls and the two Ocampo sisters, and it's going to be a fun show.
Let's just say she did not win the Mental Attitude Award winner for her radio speaking interview skills.
Now you're being harsh on her. She was just a little nervous.
The wrestling match was nothing for her. She put a headset on her, and she was so nervous she couldn't speak. With that, let's send it back to the studio for a round of commercials with Steve Rouse running the board for us. Back with more High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
When faced with the difficult task of making arrangements for your loved one, many emotions and questions arise. What would they want me to do if they were here? Where is the money coming from? How much should I spend? Do they want burial or cremation? The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home can help you navigate these tough questions. Make your wishes known and allow us to make sure that your wishes are carried out. Call Ryan Hershey or Eric Zelt at 260-724-7167 to schedule an appointment today.
Cross Creek Golf Club in Decatur has the perfect Christmas gift for the entire family. This year, give the gift of golf. Reduced rates for next season are now available. Student memberships, singles, couples, family, and seniors are all options on the 27-hole beautiful Cross Creek Golf Course. Gift certificates from Cross Creek make great stocking stuffers. New merchandise, including sweaters and outerwear, are also great gift ideas. Stop in soon for the best selection. Cross Creek Golf Club in Decatur. When you're doing new construction or remodeling and you need drywall, the name to call is Paul Baker Drywall. Paul Baker Drywall does championship caliber work and gives you free estimates. Paul uses all the latest styles for your approval, and his work is always guaranteed. Give Paul a call today at 701-4388. That's 701-4388. When it's time for drywall, use the best, Paul Baker Drywall.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly. Not always hosted by Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. We had a night there where we were hiding in my basement bunker, but tonight we were back live at the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. It's Wings Night special on Sunday, and I had me a plate of wings and some tater tots with the magic house salsa dipping. And Dane always goes with the cheese curds. And I stole one on the way out when I brought it out to you.
Love the cheese curds. We've only got a few episodes left here at the Double Eagle as we're winding down, and we're already talking about conference tournaments coming up this Saturday. But we want to give a bit of a focus here, another preview to our coverage of the girls' state finals before we take a quick look at what happened this week with Belmont and Adams Central. One personality that we've really grown fond of in the last 3 weeks has been Lena Lingo, and her interview skills and just sort of her attitude towards it. This is a young lady who came out for wrestling, and we've gained a lot of respect for her. Came out for wrestling as a freshman, did not win a single match. 2 years later, fast forward, she knocks off one of the top 2 or 3 girls in the state in the quarterfinals, reaches the semifinals, and ends up 4th in the state at a highly competitive weight at, just incredible. The growth that she shared, of course, we give a lot of deference to Nat Wood for his prediction at the beginning of the year, Mr. Nostradamus himself.
We were talking to Coach Myers, and I said, was she like a volleyball player or a basketball player? I said, no, she was a show choir girl. So she went from show choir to wrestling, and that is about the extremes that you can do in that sport.
And, a lot of kids who end up at the state finals and end up 4th, they spend the rest of that evening in the hallway somewhere alone with their thoughts, and they can't stand to watch. No, Lena was there cheering on her teammate. She was taking pictures. She was doing interviews with us. Absolutely loved what she saw, and she's back next year. She and Mallory both. I think both of them contenders. I mean, obviously Mallory contender for a state title, but I think Lena is somebody who you very much could predict has a chance to wrestle under the lights. So let's listen a little bit to the personality that is Lena Lingo in our broadcast yesterday.
Who do you got up there? The new photographer in the building there, Dane?
Oh, we might just hire her for WZBD. We're joined by Lena Lingo. And a great tournament again today. You really grinded one out there in the opening round and got to the medals. And then a big win to reach the semifinals. And when I talked to you last week on Friday, you told me that's what your goal was, to reach the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, coming in, my goal was to not play safe. I didn't want to come in and win my first match, but not win any of the other ones. So I exceeded my goal tremendously, and I'm so happy.
Well, that quarterfinal win was great. We had a great time calling it, and it was a big win for you, the upset win, and to get in there and wrestle in the semifinals and to reach the top 4, quite an accomplishment. And, of course, to do it while you've also got Mallory on your team, and she comes in and wins another state title. So controlled. Every time that Turtle shot in, you could see that Mallory had a plan for how she was going to counter it. And what a legend. Mallory winner, 3-time state champ, and hopefully we get to come back here next year and watch her become a 4-time state champ. And that shiner on your eye has to feel a little bit better knowing that it came from the state champ.
Definitely.
So now we think that Mallory, not only by setting a record of being a 3-time state champ, she set a new record day with 4 different singlettes in the matches.
That was impressive. I really liked the white one that you guys wore.
With the Ghost Patriot on it?
Oh, yeah.
That one's pretty slick. Although I think the best one is the one, were you the one who wore the one at Columbia City with the Colorado, with the Rockies? That's not actually legal. That was a great singlet. I love that one.
I did not know that I could not wear that until after the fact.
Mosconi gets the reversal.
Oh, there's a fall.
There's a fall. Mosconi, your winner. Second year in a row, Mosconi is your winner from Southport.
Mosconi, your champ at 170 pounds. She wins her 2nd state title. And Lena, remind us, what grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
So next year you come back, and you and Mallory both as seniors. And, of course, now you get to go out and hit the recruitment trail and talk to some of those. That was a big throw right there. I'm not sure the coach is going to recover from that one. But we were talking about it with a couple of other girls who we interviewed. And it's kind of up to you guys and your coaches to not just sit on your accomplishment and expect girls to just jump into the wrestling room, but to go out and say, hey, this is what I accomplished. This is the work that I put into it. This is why I enjoyed it. And to get more and more girls out and to continue to grow girls wrestling at Jay County.
I say come out and join. I started as a freshman and didn't win a single match my entire year until the off season, and now I'm number 4 in the state. So it's not an excuse anymore to just be like, oh, I won't even be good. Like, it's possible. You can come out and like be amazing and surprise everyone.
Well, it was a heck of a lot of fun watching you this year from that very first match back in November all the way to the last 3 weekends. And for you to stand on the top 4 of the medal stand and join your teammate Mallory, who's up there on the top spot, a great accomplishment. We thank you for coming and joining us on the interview. So once again, that was Lena Lingo as she was, after she had gone on the medal stand. And once again, I think she was tickled pink to finish in the top 4. She had a great match to reach the semifinals and the quarterfinals. But someone, like she said in her interview, who jumped into the sport, fell in love with it, and, you know, did the best that she could, left it all out there on the mat, and then took what she got.
That should be their advertising slogan. Come out and be amazing.
That's right. That's what she said.
Come out and be amazing.
Now, we did want to recap the week that was. I had the chance to work the match with Nat against Delta with Adams Central. Unfortunately, we know that Max Carr is out with a shoulder injury. I think they're still planning on him coming back, if not for this week, for next week for sectional. So I think Adams Central is going to get better there. Miles Carr was sick. I talked to our good friend, our photographer, Mom, and she said, oh, yeah, he's at home sick. He was not going to wrestle. I said, well, not a bad night to miss since you're wrestling the number 1. She said, oh, no, he wanted to wrestle him. He was that sick. Zach Worm didn't wrestle. It gave a chance for Wyatt McAfee to get a match. Keegan Bloom took the forfeit at 2:15. McAfee was in it with Moss, the heavyweight
Isaac
from
Moss.
Delta. When they were on their feet, McAfee could hold his own. But as soon as Moss had the chance to be on top, he just had too much weight, I think, for Wyatt to be effective. Down low, Brace and Shorjan looked great. Some of those Adams Central lightweights, even though they lost, wrestled really, really well against those Delta lightweights. But, man, if you look at the semi-state rankings and what Delta has, it's hard to imagine them not winning sectional, regional, semi-state.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how.
I mean, there's going to be some kids at the regional. I mean, that regional is going to be a barn burner. I mean, they're going to come in there. There's going to be no real favorite, maybe Delta, but there's going to be some kids that come in there at other weights that really kind of mess things up. I don't see any one team just taking everything.
Well, you look at that run of lightweights that Delta has, and then you add in Ronimus and Stebbins and Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they legitimately have 7 state qualifiers on that team.
Yeah, pretty easily.
I think when you get to semi-state, they are very much the favorites. It's going to depend on the draws, of course. But one guy who did get a win for Adams Central was Maverick Dubois, and he continues to have an impressive high school season. His sophomore year, just as good as his freshman year. And here we listen to some brief highlights from that match on Wednesday. 55 seconds left here in the second period.
He's got a near side.
Yes, he does. He's going to try to work it over. Oh, he loses the hold.
Yeah, he really was too close in, too compact. He really needed to back out and put that head in the side to get him turned.
Dubois leads it 5-0 here. We want to give a shout out to all of our listeners. Margie Tebow's listening at home, still a little bit under the weather. Can he lace those legs in and get him flat?
He's bent. He's bent.
He was bridging on those shoulders, and there it is. 3 minutes and 35 seconds is your time of your fall. And Mav Dubois is your winner. We also had the chance to talk to Trevor Curry, and I tell you what, it was one of my favorite interviews of the year. He wasn't going to interview with us if I didn't tell him what the questions were. And I kept telling him, that's not how this works. I ask the questions, you answer them. And he kept, right as he was putting on, he's like, well, you didn't tell me the question. I said, I don't care. I mean, this is the way this works.
Well, does your math teacher walk up and give you the questions before you start the test? No. That's how it works.
So here you go. This is Trevor Curry on senior night for Adams Central. We are welcoming Trevor Curry to the broadcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
Senior night tonight, and you had a chance to wrestle for the last time here in the hangar. I know that this gym is special to you. Tell us a little bit about this senior class that you're a part of.
The senior class is amazing. It's just nice to wrestle in the hangar one last time. It's almost over. Season's almost over. Sectional's coming up real fast. The senior class, we're small, but I'm just glad I can do it with my buddies.
And, some of these guys you've been wrestling with since grade school, and others you've been wrestling with for just a couple of years, guys like Zach Worm, but you guys have accomplished a lot as a team in the dual meet format. Of course, Saturday we were there at Rochester. I thought it was a fun day of wrestling. Obviously, Rochester got the better of you guys, but you have to remember, you guys finished runner-up in the state. And I know Coach Myers was having the same conversation with his boys this week in the practice room. You wanted to beat Delta, but don't lose sight of the fact that you finished ahead of everybody else in 1A and in 2A, and it certainly is an accomplishment.
Yeah, going back to that semifinal match against Tell City, they beat us last year in the finals, so it was just good to get that match back, and it's just cool to be there 2 years in a row, and it's just a nice feeling.
It's your senior year, and you're going to start wrestling some matches here real quick where your wrestling career is on the line.
Yeah, it's going way faster than I thought it would, I'll be honest, but just switching over to individual, it's kind of fun. The team aspect's fun, but individual's fun because you really get to work on what you're good at and what you need to do to beat this guy, and it's just kind of fun to, it's a challenge, and especially whenever your season's on the line, career's on the line, so it'll just be fun.
Do you enjoy those matches when you put it out there? Like, think to the ticket round the last year or two. Is that something that you revel in, or does it make you more nervous than some of these other matches?
Personally, I think it'll make me a little bit more nervous, but
But it's why you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
When you put stuff on the line and you're out there on the mat and people are watching you. Of course, you're not new to the sport at all. You've been doing this for a long time. What are your plans after you finish up here at Adams Central in the spring?
Small school, so we play 3 sports around here. So I'll be.
I'm pumped about baseball season.
Are you? Yeah, it'll be fun.
You guys are going to be good, just like you were last year, and some really entertaining games in the ACAC. But it was neat to see you wrestle with some of your senior teammates. It was too bad that Zach Worm didn't get a chance to wrestle, but Wyatt wrestled really well on his feet against Moss early on, and you guys have got a lot of talent up there in those heavier weights, and I think you're going to have a lot of success. And I don't think that the Jets can be counted out when you start talking about ACAC conference title. The sectional is going to be wide open, and of course Delta probably going to be the favorite at the regional. But as those teams get pared down to 10 wrestlers and 8 wrestlers, and even at semi-state, you guys are going to be contenders for that semi-state title. It only takes 3 or 4 state qualifiers, and certainly I know that's one of your goals this year.
Yep.
Well, Trevor, thank you for joining us here on Senior Night as our interview. We want to wish you the best of luck on Saturday. Weather pending, we'll be there to watch you wrestle, and we'll be there next Friday at the ACAC.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Trevor. That was Trevor Curry. Once again, that was Trevor Curry there on Senior Night for the Adams Central Flying Jets. When we come back here in first period B, we're going to take a look real quick at who some of the contenders are for conference titles in both the ACAC and the NE8.
Are you ready for spring? Come see what we have growing in the greenhouses. Hi, it's Jessie at Heller Nursery, and we are open all winter long. Heller Nursery always has a wide selection of houseplants in stock and pottery for inside and outside the house. We are preparing for spring every day now. And with new shipments of decor, pottery, plants, and seeds, there's always something new to see. Check out hellernursery.com to see our wide selection of spring offerings of trees, shrubs, fruits, and perennials. Heller Nursery, open 7 days a week.
Bowers Paint Studio on West Monroe Street in Decatur is hands down the best auto body repair shop in the Midwest. That's why your friends and neighbors give Bowers Paint Studio a 5-star rating on Facebook. Your family ride get dinged in an accident? Take it to Bowers for a free estimate. Need a custom paint job for your collectible car or motorcycle? Bowers Paint Studio is the place to go. Nate works with all the insurance companies and can help you get a loaner. That's Bowers Paint Studio on West Monroe Street in Decatur.
Does your smile need work? Maybe it's time for a cleaning and exam. Visit Laura Kugelhahn, DDS, and her knowledgeable, caring staff at Complete Smiles on North Main Street in Bluffton. Dr. Kugelhahn would love to help you maintain your dental health or transform your smile. Whatever your needs might be, Complete Smiles is there to help you. Dr. Kugelhahn is currently accepting new patients. Call 824-3100 to schedule an appointment.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. And Dane, I pulled out of the bag my shirt that has the Daleville Broncos on it. Kenley Keffer, she gave us these shirts, and I'm going to wear it for the show tonight. And what a nice young lady. I interviewed her the week of regional, and she said it's okay if we bring some shirts, and she rolled up there and gave them to us. Then she went out and wrestled Heather Crawl, one of the toughest girls in the nation, and I tell you what, other than Heather Crawl, she tore everybody up that day.
Were you? I don't know if you were listening or you were paying attention. She told us, because she gave us the shirts before she wrestled, right?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she looked at me. She said, "I just hope I score a point." Poor thing didn't score a point because she's wrestling a future Olympian, but that's beside the point. She certainly made us proud, and it's funny. You and I don't have any allegiance to Daleville or Westdell or Weppahani. I have stopped at the Taco Bell there at Daleville Exit a couple times in my life. But you wrestle in the same regional as a team now, and it's been 22 years that they've been in our regional. You can't help but root for those teams. You see a Monroe Central kid on Friday night, you want that kid to win, and it sort of translates over to the girls' side of things too.
Well, didn't you have a statistic of how many girls made the finals that came through the Fort Wayne semi-state?
Yeah, there was a while. There was 6, I think, either 5 or 6 weights in a row where we had a finalist from our semi-state. Fort Wayne absolutely on the forefront of the sport.
Well, New Haven walked away with the tournament. I mean, with the Duo Campos sisters that were hands-on favorites.
You almost stole the trophy. Volunteered to caretake.
They were afraid it wasn't going to fit in the bus, and so I'll throw it back to the car.
They had so many girls who qualified. There's only so many seats on a.
I had room in the back
bus
of the Lucerne, but we could have hauled that baby home to Buick.
Well, we want to take a little bit of time to preview the ACAC tournament, which will happen on Friday, and, of course, the NE8 tournament on Saturday.
A little action is what you say.
And all we're going to do here is, for our listeners, run through the semi-state rankings and tell you who's up there in the top. Of course, we're going to listen to our interview with Juliana Ocampo. As we discussed in our interview that you'll hear later on, Juliana has every intention of winning conference, sectional, and regional titles, and she very much admitted, semi-state, I'm going to win the matches that I can, and I'm going to hope that I can qualify, and I hope we're going to get a good draw that I can win a match on Friday night. She's no dummy. She knows where she stands with a lot of those kids. So she is ranked number 2 in our semi-state, and if she takes care of business and Jensen Boyd takes care of business, I have no doubt that she's going to qualify for state for a third time in 3 years with the boys, potentially the last time, but that's a different discussion for a different day. Right now, Griffin Byram from Jay County is the top-ranked wrestler at 106 pounds. At 113, Levi Johns, a state placer 2 years ago. He's the top-ranked wrestler in the ACAC at 113. I think the NE8 is wide open at 113. Nobody in the semi-state rankings at that weight. At 120, one match that a lot of Belmont fans really want to see again is Henry Farreau and Jason Prow. Jason Prow beat him. You saw that match, right?
Henry was ahead and got caught.
Yeah, so that's a match where you may see the seeds at 1-2, but very much Farreau a chance to win that match. Dakota Sprunger has had a great
keep it
season.
down, Kathy. We're trying to run a radio show here.
Sprunger is the top-ranked wrestler for the Starfires at 120. At 126, Drew Walden was a state qualifier last year for the Barons. He's the only ranked wrestler in the NE8. And Cody Rouse has been wrestling much better as of late, looking at some of the results in the ACAC. At 132, the big shakeup has been Jackson Bradley dropping down from 138. He's now ranked number 1 at that weight, but Brayson Shorgen is the top-ranked wrestler in the ACAC, and his only losses are to Ryu from Avon and Mosier from Delta. I have a feeling that he's going to end up the number 1 seed. By the way, they're doing the seeding meeting in the ACAC virtually. Any thoughts on that?
It happens.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
No, with the Zoom call, everybody can do a Zoom call.
Of course, Tony Wood, top-ranked wrestler at 138 pounds. I would think we saw some pretty good things from Justin Boone. You said for Yorktown?
Yeah.
He took out Wolpert, right? He bumped up and took out Wolpert?
He bumped out and took out Wolpert handily.
Now, that's an interesting one. Lincoln Carter from Eastside's also up there. But as far as the ACAC goes, Tony is likely to meet Mav Dubois in the finals. When they wrestled the first time, I believe that one was a major decision. So you look for Tony Wood to win there. Easton Dosters, you're going to be your top seed at 144 pounds for New Haven, no doubt. Jaden Teague from DeKalb is right there. You've also got Sam Wolpert. Colton Bullenbacher will be there for South Adams at 144. Cameron Clark, I don't know how many matches he's actually wrestled for Jay County. Right now he's ranked number 1 in that semi-state, but I'm not sure how much we've seen. We saw Luke Toish. You saw him at the NE8 duels. I saw him last week against South Adams, and he is definitely the favorite to win against the rest of the NE8 field. I believe he nearly tech-falled Luganville.
Yeah.
And Luganville's had a pretty solid season.
Luganville got the first takedown on him, I think.
Luganville's going to be right there, just like he's been the last 2 years. Don't forget, Luganville was a ticket rounder as a sophomore. Made semi-state last year as a junior. He's going to be right there depending on the draw. I think the big one for Luganville is going to be, is Clark healthy? Where's that going to land? And then what will Jaden Jett do? Can Luganville beat Jaden Jett when it counts at the regional, whether it's in the first round, whether it's in the semifinals, whether it's in the finals? I don't know. But Luganville certainly has the talent to come in as a regional champ, depending on what Clark does. So that's an interesting weight as well. Are we going to see Gavin Davis on Saturday? I don't know. We really don't know. It's a week-to-week decision on how his shoulder feels. They're trying to protect him as much. I mean, that's, a lot of people are asking questions about it. There's nothing to reveal.
Well, there was questions if he was hurt for Yorktown. His dad come up and he said no, he had a flu this week. He said his shoulder's still good. It's flu. So ruled that out now. Now, how healthy you are with the flu, I mean, I think you still got to keep wrestling and keep sharp.
So we will probably see him there as he's still undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't forget that. So he's likely to be the number 1 seed. Isaiah Meyer has had a great season for South Adams. He lost 9-4 to Gavin in that duel at the Stardome. He will be the favorite at 157 pounds. Duke Myers will be the number 1 seed at 165. I don't know if we'll see Max Carr again on Friday. If we don't, I think that's a wide open weight. It's hard to tell what Jay County will come with the lineup. At 175, I mean, Xavier Palacios is the defending champion, or a defending champion, I should say.
Yeah, he was at 65 last year.
In the NE8, and he certainly has a chance to do it again. He's the only ranked wrestler at that weight in the semi-state rankings.
Correction, he was at 55 last year. 50.
I don't even remember those. I've deleted my memory of those weight classes, and I don't want to bring him back. The Kuhlmans are definitely contenders for conference titles for Leo at 190 and 285. Eli is the top-ranked wrestler. Ranked number 3 for Leo. Trevor Curry is the top-ranked wrestler in the ACAC at number 4. We also, of course, have Bryce Wank, and I think that is maybe the marquee final, if it happens, at 190 pounds, Wank and Curry.
We've been at places where Jay County's wrestled, and I've yet to seen Bryce Wank wrestle. Every time I look, I've missed a match, so I have not seen Bryce Wank wrestle this year.
He is a quick pinner.
Yeah.
So, and then of course Keegan will be ranked or seeded number 1 at 215, and I would expect Wyatt McAfee to be the top seed at 215, and then at 285, like I said, then you get all of these guys. Nearly everybody in the top 8 in our semi-state is in the NE8 or the ACAC. Isaiah Kuhlman has defeated James Hartleroad, who was a state qualifier last year as a freshman for DeKalb. Zach Worm didn't wrestle last week. He was a state qualifier last year. Juan Cruz. Would you be surprised if Juan Cruz won a semi-state title this year?
I have not seen Juan Cruz wrestle either.
I mean, what we've seen from him in the last 2 years would make you think that he's right up there with it. And then New Haven's got a really talented heavyweight in Charles McGrant. He's the one who initially injured Worm with that hamstring injury. So.
Well, and we know that Parker Hennessy was another good wrestler in the ACAC, and he was injured during a match with Juan Cruz.
Yep, and I saw some pictures that came to us from one of our avid listeners up in Monroeville of Mr. Hennessy, and he's still in a brace and not healthy to wrestle this year. That's too bad, because the ACAC would have been even more competitive with that. And another name to throw in the mix is Peyton Long at Southern Wells at heavyweight as well. That's a really deep weight class for that conference, and always looking forward to doing that tournament with you on these Fridays. It'll be fun. We'll see what the hospitality room has in store for us on Bluffton.
We're at Bluffton, right?
We are going to have a third member of the team, as my wife is going to be tagging along.
Mr. Thompson does a fine job with the hospitality room.
Good. Better than the Domino's that Woodland had last year?
Yeah, usually it's somebody like that.
Now, I had Domino's on Friday. You took the chicken.
Had the chicken.
But my Domino's was cold.
So was my chicken.
And all I got was this little tiny styrofoam cup of popcorn.
Yeah.
Frankie Medvesic said that's all you get.
Well, that's why we had to hit something on the way home. But with that, let's send it back to studio. Steve Rouse running the board for us as he does every Sunday night. Listen to us jabber on about wrestling. We've been listening to High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
At Jackson Associates Financial Services in Portland, we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in our relationship with you, our client. We endeavor to know and understand your financial situation and provide you with only the highest quality information, services, and products to help you reach your goals. Give Troy a call for the latest rates on CDs and learn about the advantages in today's financial climate to invest in your hard-earned dollar. That's Jackson Associates in Portland.
The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home is honored to serve the community we love and live in. Locally owned and operated by Ryan Hershey and Eric Zelt, we understand that each family we serve and each life lived tells a unique story. Our goal is to offer comfort, care, and dignity to all who entrust their loved ones to our care. We are proud to call Adams County our home and look forward to serving you for generations to come.
Hi, this is Joel at Decatur Package Liquors, locally owned since 1965. I promise competitive prices and the best service in town. We offer bulk buy discounts for weddings, graduation parties, and other big celebrations. Special orders are also available and highly recommended. Don't forget about Wine Wednesday, where you get the best savings. Come on, guys, it's where your friends shop.
Decatur Package Liquors, with the best service and variety in town, now with locations in Monroe, Byrne, and Markle.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted once again live at the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. And we are joined on the phone by our good friend, the rankings guru from Indiana Matt, Brandon Razo. And Brandon, Dane and I, as we spent 9 hours on the radio the other day, or on YouTube doing that thing, your predictions were pretty spot on. But I'll tell you what, there's a couple of very pleasant surprises in there. A couple of girls that come in are unranked that really made some noise, but it just makes me understand how hard your job is to rank some of these girls coming in. And the caliber of wrestling was just incredible. What did you feel of the way the tournament went?
Well, I thought it was a really good tournament. Not only was the semi-state weekend phenomenal for the girls, but the state finals on Friday were great. There was a lot of good wrestling, a lot of good matches, and it's exciting. Like I could hear the crowd watching online all day, and it was loud, teams cheering, fans cheering. I see no reason why the sport shouldn't get sanctioned.
Well, we saw Robert there in the morning on Friday. He was handing out the team regional and team semi-state trophies and talking to Pat and JD and a couple other people involved. Certainly seems like that's the way that they're leaning, but I think we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But the numbers are growing. The teams are getting bigger, and the wrestling's getting better. So, I mean, right now we're in a really good spot with the girls wrestling for Indiana, and hopefully the sanction comes sooner or later. I mean, because we got some real good talent in the state, like national talent, and the fact that we're not sanctioned yet, I mean, it makes it hard for these girls.
Well, we certainly saw throughout the day, Rex and I talked about it a couple times. If we think back to, and, my experiences in girls wrestling kind of go back to about the same time as you, when Trinity and Andrea were freshmen, and that first, time going to Mechaniqua and those types of things. The difference in the wrestling in the last 5 years is just incredible. I mean, Rex and I didn't bat an eye when a girl got a takedown on a real nice high C or something, and then she put in the legs, and then she was working a tilt or something else. Like, literally no one rode like that 5 years ago. It's incredible the change that's happened.
Yeah, a lot of these girls have decided that. I mean, they're training all year round. They're going to CIAs. They're at Contender. They're at the Warrior regional training up there at Indiana Tech. They're coming into the sport ready to do it, and they're taking any opportunity they can to get better right now.
So, Brandon, there's one thing that a lot of people have talked about, and they've been bouncing this around. They said if girls wrestling sanctions next year, and then girls will only wrestle girls, and they won't be able to wrestle a boys team. And I've heard a lot of people tell me, well, that's not fair for so-and-so and so-and-so. Dane and I specifically asked every single state champion on Friday what they thought that meant to them. It meant nothing. And so I think a lot of people are complaining about something just because they may have a feeling, but that's not the way the girls feel. And these girls were so proud to be girls state champions that if they don't get to wrestle against boys, I don't think any of them really care. And that's my feeling.
Yeah, and that's why there's girls wrestling. They want to wrestle against girls. So, I mean, if that rule would come into effect, I mean, if you think about it, it affects less than a handful of girls in the whole state that can actually compete with the boys.
And, Brandon, another thing that we talked with a lot of the girls, and you're going to hear these interviews if you're sticking with us, talking about how do you take the success that they found this weekend and last weekend, and then how do you roll that into growing your team for the next year? And nearly every one of the girls said, absolutely, that's one of my goals. One of my goals is to get more girls on the team next year, to see how much I enjoyed this sport, the success that I found, and to sort of transfer that over to them. I think that success breeds success, and whether they're in a historic program on the boys' side or whether they're in a program that has no success in history on the boys' side, they all want to grow their programs. And one thing that we just walked away as we were talking about in the Arby's drive-thru as we were waiting on our roast beef sandwiches is these girls love the sport, and it comes through in everything that they do, from where they are on the mat to the interviews that they gave us. They're absolutely ready to share that love of the sport with girls who have never even really considered it, and that was just it brought so much hope to us as to where the sport is going.
Yeah, I think it's in a real good spot. I mean, because it's like that. Even on the boys' side, with a good program, all it takes is a couple kids having success, and then, bam, they got more kids, and all of a sudden that team's a lot better than what it was a few years ago. And you're seeing it with the girls. I mean, some of the schools that are getting a lot of girls now are ones that are having girls that's had success the couple last years. New Haven, Southport, everyone's growing and getting numbers, and now it's making a team, that everyone's been chasing down, like Penn. Now Penn's in a spot where they're, on an equal playing field as the rest of the state.
And I think some of those things, these girls' teams are going to create their own legacies. Like you said, whether or not their boys' team has had a lot of success or not, I think some of these girls' teams are going to create their own legacies, and you're going to see new girls' teams pop up as powerhouses versus, we're only successful because our boys' team's been successful.
Yeah, and if you look at
You're cutting out on us, Brandon. Must be your phone connection from Illinois. You're cutting out on us a little bit.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said, one of the things, if you look at like purple, teams that are up there, their boys teams are, times mediocre.
Sounds like T-Pain, Dane.
Brandon, one of the things that I heard as we were walking out on Friday night, I heard Coach Harper. He had his whole team assembled, everybody from Penn, and he told them to watch as New Haven took the trophy and celebrated winning. And I thought it was really interesting because I think that, and not a slam on Penn's team, but I think the sport at the very beginning needs success from multiple areas across the state. The last thing that the sport needed was a dynasty that was going to dominate every year for the first decade. And I think Coach Harper recognizes that Penn needs to keep working because they didn't have strong enough of individuals to win the team state tournament this year, and he used it as a motivator for his team to come.
Did we lose you, Brandon? You still there? We may have lost Brandon. But, Dane, one of those things that also we do know that Brandon mentioned it on Guerrilla Radio the other night when I was interviewing girls at Regional. So many of these girls have turned into full-year wrestlers. They've done away with their any other sport, and they just wrestle year-round.
You'll hear that in the interviews as we asked a couple of them, how many years have you been wrestling? What other sports are you in? And they said, no, I've pretty much dedicated myself to wrestling this season or last season, and have continued with it. So I did get a chance to tell them because we lost them on the bad cell reception, I think. But shout out to Brandon for the work that he's done. There's a lot of work in combing through results, going through it, talking to people, finding out, who's wrestling where. And then he has it even harder than Reiser because these schools are able to enter 2 girls per weight class. And so, that just changes things when you're looking through all of those things. And, he's taken a new career path. He's over in another state, but his love of wrestling comes through, and it is very evident in what he does. And he's one of the big reasons for the success of the sport over the last couple of years.
I went ahead and Joe had a thing on Indiana Matt and had the state champions there. So just for an easy reference, I just screenshot it and come up. But some of these matches in the finals, and I don't know, I'd have to look back and see where Brandon had young Miss Troutner from Huntington North, but somebody tweeted out or sent out a thing on Indiana Matt or on their school's Facebook post about her on there, and I said, this young lady was so impressive as a freshman. And, and we were really impressed with her coach's sport coat. We wanted to copy that. But
we need to get some WZBD. You know how you used to watch Monday Night Football, and they used to have the little logo?
The yellow,
we get it embroidered right on there.
Yeah, but I tell you what, there were some matches in the finals that were just dogfights. I mean, really good wrestling. I mean,
yeah, and we're going to hear some of those highlights as they sort of filter in through our interviews with the other girls. When we come back after this break, our next segment, we're going to talk to a couple of state champions in Kendall Moe and Sophia Buchner. And just if you're listening right now, stick with us and listen to the passion that these girls have for the sport that all of us love, and it comes through in those interviews.
With that, let's send it back to the studio with a round of commercials. Back with more High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
Experience the magic of Evansville, Indiana, where Hoosier hospitality shines bright. Stroll along our scenic riverfront, indulge in local cuisine, and immerse yourself in history and culture. From family-friendly attractions to outdoor adventures, Evansville has it all. Visit the mesmerizing Mesker Park Zoo and Botanic Garden, or explore the city's rich history at the USS LST 325. Ready to start planning your stay? Discover everything our city has to offer at exploreevansville.com. Evansville, Indiana, where memories are made.
Based out of the Indiana Tech Wrestling Facility, the Warrior Regional Training Center is an elite training center for youth wrestlers, high school wrestlers, and college and senior level athletes. Featuring a college coaching staff with a strong history of developing talent and producing results, Warrior RTC will give any wrestler quality training partners to push them to new levels in the state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot wrestling building. The training is affordable and private training is also available. Put Warrior RTC in your corner this season.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey-Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted as always by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Great food here. Dane went with his standard, customary cheese curds tonight. I went the wings and the tots. And remember, if you get tots, got to get a side order of the house salsa. It is the best salsa in town by far.
It is a great dipping sauce, and we look forward to a few more episodes of this show this season here at this location, and of course, we're starting that countdown. It's just a few weeks. You got to start getting your ducks in a row, Rex.
Oh, and by the way, we have reopened the catalog for the High School Wrestling Weekly. So all you out there that said, oh, I was going to order something, guess what? It's open. I'm going to give Dane the link. Dane's going to put it out there. The judge needs to buy some stuff. He keeps trying to steal my stuff.
The judge was hanging out with the governor.
The governor. Hey, governor.
This week.
Governor.
He was. Hey, we're going to listen to two interviews during this segment, one with Kendall Moe, who was your champion from Hamilton Heights, and the other one from Sophia Buchner from Terre Haute North. They both gave great interviews, talked about their role in their programs, coaching staffs, all of those types of things. But Mo, she had good things to say about Coach Myers, and of course, we want to thank Gary for hooking us up with all of those interviews as everybody came up, and we thought, oh, we're not going to get as many as we did, and then all of a sudden they started coming and coming and coming. So we apologize to the upperweight girls because we were ready to get out of there, and I think so were they because of the weather. But I hope you enjoy this next 45 minutes of the show as we go back through and listen to some of these interviews. But right now, your champion at 100 pounds, Kendall Moe from Hamilton Heights. Kendall, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the fall in the finals. Coach Myers promised that he was going to send you up here. And what does it feel like to win another state title?
It feels really nice. I'm really glad that I got the experience to come out here again. And it's really a lot of fun with all the girls out here and just all the support you get and the support you get to give.
Of course, last year you won your first title down at Mooresville, and we're back here at Kokomo, and this is such a great venue. And a lot of fun, and we had a huge crowd out here tonight, and we've had some really great finals. We're a little bit concerned about what we're seeing from Isabel here right in front of us. She's getting some medical attention that's going to delay some of our proceedings here as we get ready for the 120-pound final. But what grade are you in, Kendall?
I'm in 10th grade, so sophomore year.
So just a sophomore and 2 state titles already. I would say that means your goal is probably to become a 4-time state champ.
Definitely is. Going to have to put in all the hard work for it and keep on moving, but it's the end goal.
Tell us a little bit about Coach Myers and the way he runs his girls program. What kind of coach is he?
He's a really good coach, and it's fun to be out there. And so it's nice because he runs a lot of the girls' stuff. So as we're out there, we get to see a lot of what goes on, help set up the mats sometimes. And the room just runs great. We practice with the guys, too. And so it's just a big old team, feels like a family.
So, Kendall, I'm going to ask a question. A lot of people have been back and forth. You as a 2-time state champion, we're pretty much guaranteed that girls wrestling is going to sanction next year, and the girls will wrestle against only girls and will not wrestle against the boys. What is your feeling on being a 4-time girls state champion but not being able to wrestle on the boys team anymore?
I'm really excited, and I really would like the state to get sanctioned for girls because that'd be a really big thing. It's a little sad that there's not going to be guys much more, but it's such a big improvement that I think it cancels out.
The level of the caliber of wrestling we saw here today is so much farther above what we saw 3-4 years ago that girls should just have their own sport and not even worry about wrestling boys.
Yeah, the girls have improved so much, and I think it's great because it keeps growing and growing, and it's such a tight-knit community. So it's one of the closest sports I've ever been in, and it's such a blast, and I'm super excited for it to be sanctioned.
Well, I heard him say you run cross-country as well, correct?
Yeah.
I had a daughter run cross-country, and that is one of the most biggest fun fests of all. Cross-country kids are really tight-knit, so it kind of rolls right into the next season, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Well, Kendall, we congratulate you on your 2nd state title in your career, and we hope that next year we get to interview you again as a 3-timer.
I hope so, too. Thanks for the interview.
Again, that was Kendall Moe from Hamilton Heights, and as Rex alluded to earlier, interesting to hear her talk about the idea of what sanctioning means, and, as Rex said, no real hint of disappointment. I mean, I guess it's different, specifically for the girls who wrestle 100 and 105. Those are the girls who have traditionally had some level of success against the boys, but you'll never hear a girl who's wrestling 135 or 155 say they wish they had the opportunity to wrestle the boys.
Brandon mentioned that there's a small percentage of girls that have had success wrestling against boys. At one point in time, somebody said, well, Mallory Winter, she's pretty good. How would she do against Gavin Davis? And it's like, I don't want to be mean. I think Gavin Davis would beat her 10 times in a row every time they wrestled because they're physically different. They're physically stronger, boys are. And that's just the way it is.
I can tell you that if you put a bat in Gavin Davis's hand and put him at home plate and had Mallory throw a few change-ups to him, there's no way Gavin would ever hit her.
Different sports.
I'm just telling you.
Now, if they had a rumble at home plate, that would be a different story.
It would be different. Okay. Our next interview comes from the state champ from Terre Haute North, and that is Sophia Buchner. And that one is for you right here.
Dane, we are joined here by another state champion, Sophia Buchner, correct?
Yes.
Asked away, Dane.
Sophia, I bet that's not how you drew it up when you thought how this match was going to go. A quick fall like that in the first period.
She actually, in Florida a couple months ago, she got 2 points over me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was really surprised, and I never hit cradles ever.
Well, it was an impressive move, and like we said, you put yourself in a position to win, and you took advantage of it. And I know looking at the brackets when we came out, everybody was talking about number one, Phoebe Dowdy, but sometimes in some of these tournaments, all you got to do is advance and survive. And you found yourself on the mat, and it wasn't Dowdy, and instead it was Naima. And we talked to Naima last year at the Rochester Semi-State. But a great finals match. And how does it feel to be a state champion?
It feels awesome. A lot of hard work paid off, definitely.
Now, last year you made the finals and lost.
Yeah.
Was that a motivating factor for you this year?
Yes, that was really motivating. I wanted to be the first girl in our Terre Haute North history to get first, and now I am. So.
Very cool. And how long have you been wrestling?
This is my third year wrestling, but I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 8 years now.
Okay, that's an interesting combination. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Right. So,
Sophia, do you have plans to wrestle in college next year?
Possibly. I'm not 100% sure yet.
And do you play any other sports at Terre Haute North?
I did tennis last year, but no, I mostly just wrestle all year round.
And we see why.
Absolutely. It was very impressive. We get underway in the second period. Look forward in your life, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, and you look back at this moment and your experience in wrestling, even if this is the last wrestling match that you've ever wrestled before, what are you gonna remember the most?
I think I'm just going to remember all the hard work I put in to be able to actually get to this point, and all the hard work and dedication I had.
Who are your coaches here today?
Bo Pingleton and Nick Osborne.
Okay. Sophia, let me ask you this as we get a stalemate there. How do you use your state title today to keep building girls wrestling at Terre Haute North in the years to come?
Good question. I don't know how to answer that. I just hope that because since I was the first girl, that maybe it'll motivate other people, and then it'll start a chain reaction of more first placers from Terre Haute North that'll be girls, and more girls to be motivated to be actually go and wrestle and all that.
No, a few years ago we wrestled a young lady who has wrestled in the national championship, and then she went on to wrestle Olympics in Sarah Hildebrand, and now she has her own tournament named after her at the Sarah Hildebrand tournament up at Penn. Where do you think the girls wrestling has went in the past 5 years that has really surprised you, or maybe not surprised you?
I don't think it's really surprised me because it's such an amazing sport, and I think a lot of girls being more, introduced to it has really just broadened everything, and I'm really glad that a bunch of girls are participating. It's becoming a lot more popular, and I'm seeing a lot of younger girls going into it too.
Well, I hope that you become an ambassador for the sport in your area of the state, and if you stay around, if you go to college, if you stick around and help coach the girls team in your area, I think
I plan on doing, yeah.
I think you'd be a wonderful asset to them. Appreciate you.
Again, that was Sophia Buchner, and Rex is showing me a picture of Kurt raising her hand, and she certainly was excited, and she did a great job. Naomi Ghaffar also deserves some credit. She had an outstanding tournament series, did a great interview with us at semi-state, and someone to certainly look for, as I believe she's just a sophomore.
Because I think she was like a 4 or 5 seed and knocked off the 2, or I think.
Yep. And Buchner is a senior, so that's someone to look forward to as well coming up to next year.
Well, Phoebe Dowdy was ranked number 1, I think.
Yes.
I think he had her number 1. She knocked off number 1.
Yes, she was. So in the next segment, after we go through a round of commercials here, we'll talk with the Mental Attitude Award winner, Rose Kaplan, and then we'll talk to Kyra Tomlinson of Noblesville.
Will we talk to a Mental Attitude Award winner?
Well,
it was hard.
Yeah.
We pulled it out. Let's send back to studio. Steve with a round of messages. Back with more High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
Nobody handles screen printing and apparel like Team Mantra Wear in Bluffton, providing high-quality and creative apparel for South Adams football, Belmont wrestling, and many others in our area. Team Mantra takes all the work coaches and volunteers used to do, taking orders and collecting money, and does that for them. Set up an online store and let the local experts at Team Mantra take care of the rest. From custom designs to a wide array of apparel and gear, Team Mantra is your home for all of your team apparel needs. Visit the brand new location for Team Mantra Wear on Main Street in Bluffton, or visit them online at teammantrawear.com today.
Are you ready for spring? Come see what we have growing in the greenhouses. Hi, it's Jessie at Heller Nursery, and we are open all winter long. Heller Nursery always has a wide selection of houseplants in stock and pottery for inside and outside the house. We are preparing for spring every day now. And with new shipments of decor, pottery, plants, and seeds, there's always something new to see. Check out hellernursery.com to see our wide selection of spring offerings of trees, shrubs, fruits, and perennials. Heller Nursery, open 7 days a week.
DDD Maintenance and Repair, owned and operated by Shane Reynolds, has your local professionals for heavy-duty truck and diesel engine repair. DDD Maintenance and Repair also offers full-service sand and glass blasting for your surface restoration projects. Whether it's getting your heavy-duty truck and diesel engine running like new or sandblasting your project to look like new, we have a blast renewing the past. Give Shane and the guys a call at 260-223-5442. That's DDD Maintenance and Repair.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey's High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Rex Burr along with Dane Fuelling, as we're working our way through some great interviews that we were able to conduct after the Girls State Finals. Who you got next, Dean?
Well, I'm just feeling sorry for all those Cowboys fans. They now join me as a Browns fan in looking forward to the NFL draft that comes in April. Of course, if you're a Browns fan, you don't even get your number 1 pick because they traded that away to the Texans.
Well, you have to be happier than the Colts fans because I watched them tinkle
really,
down their leg last week. That was just
really
terrible.
Is it really better to make it in and then lose, or is it better to just miss out in the first place?
I think it's worse to lose than not even make it in.
Fair enough. All right, your Mental Attitude Award winner was Rose Kaplan, and bless her heart, she was not exactly ready to give an interview, but she did her best, and you'll listen to it now. She looked a little skeptical, Rex, when you handed her the headset. We are joined now by state champion Rose Kaplan, 125 pounds from West Lafayette, and our Mental Attitude Award winner. Rose, first off, by asking you, were you expecting something like the Mental Attitude Award winner tonight?
No, I was not.
Put that mic a little bit closer to your mouth there for us. Congratulations on a great season, culminating in a state title. And tell us a little bit about your day and how it's gone for you.
Today's been great.
Are we making you nervous? You won. That's all that matters, right? You got the win.
Rose, your sister wrestled here today and was a third-place winner. Is she a good workout partner for you?
Yes, she is. We go together a lot during practice, and I think that we've just learned what each other do, and so we really just get to push ourselves during practice, and it's nice to have another girl in there. So.
Well, you capped off a remarkable high school wrestling career. You reached the state finals all 4 seasons. That's pretty remarkable. You lose the first 2, you win the second 2. Got to be pretty rewarding after the experience of losing in the finals to come back and be able to experience winning it.
Yeah.
Let me guess. You're a little more talkative at home than you are on the radio, aren't you?
A little, yeah.
I think back to I'm looking at your results from those years, and you lost to Tori Buchanan and Katie Campbell, two absolute great wrestlers in the history of high school girls wrestling, so nothing to be ashamed of. And then your win last year in the finals and a win tonight, capping off a great career. Do you have any plans to wrestle after this?
Yes. Next year I'll be wrestling at Indiana Tech.
You're going to be at Indiana Tech.
Yes.
So you're up in our neighborhood. We're from Decatur, just a little bit south of Indiana, Fort Wayne. So welcome you to the big town of Fort Wayne.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, since you're nervous, we'll let you go back with your family, but we do appreciate you sitting in here with us, and congratulations on your Mental Attitude Award winner as well.
Now, that was Rose Kaplan from West Lafayette, who was a little bit nervous to talk to Rex and me. But one person who was not nervous was Miss Kyra Tomlinson, who is on her way to Oshkosh in Wisconsin, and she had plenty to say about her state title. Congratulations to her. Right now we're joined by the state champ at 130 pounds, Kyra Tomlinson from Noblesville, and we were just chatting off the air here, Kyra, about the opening takedown that you gave up against Aubrey Troutner. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was definitely unexpected. I was not really expecting it. I went in there being aggressive, and she met me with the exact same energy, and it definitely blew me off a little bit.
Oh, actually, we've got an appeal here on whether the takedown came in time. Two takedowns, Jimmy Russell. It stands. Well, you certainly bounced back from giving up that opening takedown. You scored 14 points in the first period and sort of took control. But Troutner's going to be somebody, I know you're a senior and this is your last season in high school, but you look forward to her probably going to be wrestling under the lights again at some point in her career.
Yeah, like that, it was great. Like, she definitely came out strong, did not give up for the whole 6 minutes. I had to wrestle a tough 6-minute match to get that house.
So,
cannot wait to see it.
Kyra, tell us a little bit about how you got involved in wrestling.
I started 7th grade year, and honestly, what got me into it was a group of boys said I couldn't do it, and I just had to prove them wrong. And I fell in love with it my 8th grade year, and I just kept shooting off from there, to be honest.
Well, we've had a lot of people in the last 3 weeks when we've been doing regional and semi-state and state have the same thing, that challenge of I don't think you can do it.
Yeah.
Rex was talking about a young lady from Goshen a few years ago who the coach said he tried to do everything he could to get the one girl in his room to get out, and she kept coming, she kept coming, she kept coming. She started beating up on the boys and won her spot. But very cool story. Do you have any other? How many girls were on the Noblesville team this year?
It is great. We actually had a total of 8 girls this year, and it is growing, and I love it so much. And I keep encouraging them to come back. And I think them seeing me here tonight really encouraged them that it is possible and they can do it as long as they put in the work. And it's really great.
And we were talking to Sophia and Rose about what their wins mean for their programs going forward and building it and having that success and seeing it. But you can fall into the trap sometime of saying, well, we have success now. That means girls are just going to come out. You really have to keep working. Your coaches have to keep working. You have to be present in your school and sort of spread the word and say, I had so much fun with this. If you just give it a chance, you're going to love it too.
100%. I think the biggest thing too is a lot of women think they're going to wrestle men, because this is a male-dominated sport. But what got our girls is we really encouraged them, hey, we have girls on the team. I can show you what it's like. I'll get you through the ropes. I know what it's like. Do not be afraid, because I will be there with you. And I think just that slow encouragement really got them into really joining, and then they slowly started seeing what it was about.
Kyra, do you play any other sports at Noblesville?
No, I'm strictly wrestling year-round.
And what does life look like for you next year after high school?
I plan on going to college to wrestle as well. I committed to UW Oshkosh in Wisconsin to wrestle freestyle, and I'm really, really excited for it. So I plan on taking a national title, hopefully.
It gets.
And Rex, great to hear somebody talk about, I want a state title, but that's not my end game. I've got higher goals. I've got greater goals. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to win a national title. And she was a great interview. You were calling the match while I was getting her set up, and she didn't want to stop talking. I said, hold on a second.
Save that.
Wait to say all that when you get on the air. And
now, my comment on her match, Troutner was one of the best girls we saw in the tournament, and Tomlinson's technique in that final match, she hit 10 different moves precisely, perfectly. I mean, her technique was as good as anybody at any weight class all day long.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the reasons why she's probably committed to a college already, because they saw that. She talked about the fact that Troutner came off the whistle and surprised her on the opening whistle, and from thereafter she was all over her. 14 points in the first period. A great tournament from her. And
now, take nothing away from Troutner. I've shown several people today a picture of Troutner had blood on her face that one of Joe's photographers put, and I tell you what, she was tough. I mean, she had some blood. She didn't give two hoots about it. She just got her bloody face fixed back up, and she was tough. I mean, that Troutner is somebody you're going to look for next year at the girls' state. I mean, she was a force to be reckoned with.
For sure, and I don't remember any of her matches at semi-state. I guess I wasn't paying attention to that weight specifically, but what we saw from her was no fear, plenty of technique, plenty of talent, and certainly somebody that you're looking for, as we said in the interview, to be under the lights there.
What weight was that, 30?
Next year. Yeah, when we come back, we will listen to the interviews with Juliana and Isabel Ocampo, who led the New Haven Bulldogs to the state title. Coach Lynn and Coach Barron, and a remarkable performance. We have some really cool questions about how these two sisters interacted with the rest of the team and how they bonded and what it took for them to win a state title. But we'll listen to all of that after this round of breaks. We'll send it back to Steve for a round of messages. We'll be right back with more High School Wrestling Weekly.
Brad Weber proudly supports the WZBD Wrestling Coaches Show. He also supports youth football in Adams County as a board member of the Decatur Football League and president of Belmont Cadet Football, giving our youth the chance to learn the great game of football. Some of the best football players in our area have also been fantastic wrestlers. And that's why famous coaches like Joe Gibbs and John Madden always wanted wrestlers on their team. Find out more about youth football opportunities by giving Brad a call at 452-7045 or email bw@bradweberlaw.com. Wygand Construction in Fort Wayne is building landmarks that impact the lives and communities we serve. At Wygand, we believe that our most important responsibility as a building contractor and construction company is to stand by our commitments to our clients and to our community. That's why we believe in supporting high school athletics, where our local teenagers show their commitments to their teammates, their coaches, their schools, and their communities. Wygand Construction. Trust. Well built.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey's High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill, Rex Burlong, Dane Fuelling. We hope you enjoy these interviews that these young ladies put through. And like Dane said, some of these girls, the interview was more concerning to them than their matches were. As they didn't want to talk on the radio, even though we were only on YouTube. But I told them, I said, hey, go back and go to WZBD Radio and on YouTube and pull these up, and you'll be able to listen to all these matches all day long. And they probably didn't realize there's 9 hours worth there, did they, Dane?
No, I don't think they probably did, but they all did a great job with it, and I know our views have been doubling over the last day as people have gone back through and wanted to listen to it. I know Mom was taking some embarrassing pictures of both Ocampo sisters, and I told them, just look this way so that you don't have to look at the camera, but they seem to enjoy it. There's a really cool dynamic there. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Juliana's been under a microscope for several years because of the success that she's had
against boys
on a national, on an international level, and that's tough. It's one thing to have that kind of talent. It's another thing to be able to have the personality and the skills to be able to deal with the media attention and all of the questions that come with it. And some people just don't have that. But you can see that Juliana has sort of grown into the fact that she is an international athlete, and when you ask her what her goals are, she says, my goal is to wrestle in the Olympics, and she realizes that she's got to build up that. And then you talk to Isabel, and she's just a young ninth grader who is just trying to figure out her way in life. She knows she has the skills on the wrestling side of things, and it was kind of cool that Juliana took her under her wings in our interview that we did. I know we mentioned earlier in the broadcast in one of the highlights that Isabel had a little bit of spell on the edge of the mat. She was okay. She got back up. She went up and took her medal on the stand. maybe one of the coolest moments of the whole tournament was the fact that her sister stood behind her, held her up, cowered behind her so that she wasn't in the picture, and gave her sister her moment. It really was sweet. She put her arms, around her and made sure that she didn't fall from the top of that podium.
Because the podium, they were like 5 feet in the air. They had reasonable concern.
Yes, that if she were going to pass out, that she was going to be in trouble. But we walked out with both girls and with Sam and with Coach Lynn and Coach Barrett, and they seemed to be in good spirits. So I think everything was okay there. And they were even gracious enough to come back up after having to deal with me the week before.
Which surprised me that they came up to talk to us after she had, some concerns.
Yes, and I just really appreciate that. So we want to play that interview for you now. I think it's very telling and says a lot about these two girls. Congratulations on your win. We get it right up to your mouth so you can turn it up as high as possible. And Rex going to hand the headset off to Juliana. We'll let her put it on there as we get ready for the 190-pound championship between Jaya O'Neill and 3-time state champion Hannah West. Girls, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations not just on individual titles, but on a team title as well.
Thank you.
So, we're getting ready to watch Hannah West, who's going to try to become a 4-time champion. And next year, Juliana, it might be your chance to win a 4th state title.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your day today and how your team did.
My day was good. Towards the beginning, I had the mindset of just going out there, having fun, and just wrestling how I usually wrestle.
Now, on a day like today, how much time do you spend focusing on yourself, and how much time do you spend focusing on being a sister?
I feel like it's equal. I feel like I would point it more towards on focusing towards my sister because I want to see her, do good as well. So, yeah.
And what about you, Isabel? You focus on yourself, you focus on being a sister? 50-50?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. Well, you won your first title tonight as a freshman. When you started the season, that was probably the goal, but did you expect it to happen when you started the day today?
I didn't expect it. I knew I was gonna have
to work for it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about your team coming through with what's going to lock down to be a state finals championship here, being a state champion team?
I mean, I think it's great. I believed in our teammates. We all did really good, and I'm proud of all of them.
Oh my gosh, Heaven Gardner, we had so much fun watching her the last 2 weeks. She has so much talent, and she's still so raw, and you can see that she's learning match after match. And then she has such a different personality and mentality than Olivia, who just smiles through everything and sort of shakes everything off. But Olivia has a lot of spunk and has a lot of fight back. We saw her go to her back a couple times today. She fought right back, got reversals, put her opponent on her back, and just an amazing accomplishment for you guys to have 4 semi-state champs last week and to win a state title this week.
Yeah, it's great.
So we're here at 190. We don't want to neglect it, but there are no points scored here between O'Neill and West from Mount Vernon. We got one more bout after this, Ava Stokes and Varsity Bachelor. Now, we're not fully in tune with the New Haven wrestling world, but are both of you girls going to be wrestling at conference next week?
I will be for sure.
You will be?
Yes.
And Isabel, not sure? Not sure. Okay. And we'll be there for the NE8, and then you guys will go through sectional. And I know, Juliana, we talked last week a little bit about your aspirations on the boys' side. You said, if I remember right, that the goal is to make it to semi-state and then see how the draw goes from there and to make it through.
Yep.
But you've made it to state here at Kokomo. You've wrestled at state at Mooresville. You've wrestled at state in Indianapolis. It would be pretty cool to see you wrestle at state down in Evansville.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long drive, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for sure. Now, with some of these other champions, how much time do you guys spend talking to them after the matches? How many of them do you know really well? How many of them have you wrestled with before? Who were you cheering on? Those types of things.
I will say we know a lot of people. I'm not more of a social person, so I don't like talking that
Well, you've
much.
talked on WZBD 2 weeks in a row, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
Don't smile. Your mom's taking a picture. Yeah, look this way. That's better.
Now, was it nice not to have to wrestle Heather Kroll in the state finals again, and your little sister ended up taking out her little sister, so it was Ocampo versus Kroll again, but we see Heather come in and get her first state championship after you defeated her 2 years in a row, and I know you guys are pretty good friends because you did a lot of wrestling in the offseason together.
Mhm. It was nice to see her get her state title because she definitely deserved it.
Oh, here West has O'Neal on her back temporarily. She did get a 2 count. She'll take a 2-0 lead here. She needs to get back behind Jaya O'Neal. So, Juliana, as you approach the second half of your high school career, I know a lot of people want to know what are your long-term aspirations when it comes to college wrestling, Olympic wrestling, all those types of things. Is that something you think about? Or 1 year at a time?
I would say 1 year at a time, but for college, I don't really think about it that much. But by far, my biggest goal is definitely the Olympics. I'm planning to look for a gold medal in the Olympics at some point through my life. So.
Is it the same for you? Yes?
Well, it's not like a girl from Indiana can't make the Olympics, right? You've seen that. You know that for a fact, right? 2 girls from Indiana.
Well, girls, we congratulate you on what is an awesome accomplishment to win state titles together as sisters. And I know it probably brought you guys closer together tonight. And we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, Juliana. Anytime that we see you, whether it's at the NE8 or at semi-state here in a couple weeks, please come over and join us and give us an interview. And hopefully we see both of you girls at the state finals, not just this year in Evansville, but next year if we're back here at Kokomo and in the future.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Again, that was Juliana and Isabel Ocampo in what was a pretty memorable night for the New Haven Bulldogs as they won 2 individual state titles and a team state title. Had a chance to talk with Coach Lynn at the end of the night as he was walking out the door. I tried to stop him. I tried to let him take a deep breath, and I said, I hope that everybody gives you as much credit as you deserve, because for him to take those 2 girls after they had been away at a different school for another year, bring them back into the fold, and then it's very obvious that if you look at Boussard and Gardner and Bodie, those girls received an incredible amount of coaching this year. And they're not at the same weight as the Ocampos. They didn't just latch on to those 2 girls and just become successful because of them. It was a ton of coaching by his coaching staff that brought them to the – and they were literally – state champions of Indiana.
You know, and you see Harley in there right there with him, and like we talked on air on Friday. You know, you go to junior high matches and see Harley's there. Harley's putting a lot of time in there, and it takes a village to raise a child, and it's a big team effort. And like you said on the way home, it's like, you know, Jimmy Lynn coaches another sport. He coaches wrestling, and he's coaching the girls. Now, do you think he's getting compensated for all that? I don't think so.
No. And just a great weekend and a great culmination to the entire season. And, Rex, I hope that when we come back in October next season on High School Wrestling Weekly, that we're talking about the IHSAA girls state finals and all of those types of things. And I think what happened on Friday night went a long way to reaching that goal.
I talked to my T-shirt designer yesterday, and I said, you know what? We're going to put girls. We're going to get a shot from the girls' state finals. We're going to put girls on the front of our shirt next year.
I like it.
With that, let's send it back to studio. Steve Rouse running the board. We'll be back for our last segment here on High School Wrestling Weekly on WZBD.
When faced with the difficult task of making arrangements for your loved one, many emotions and questions arise. What would they want me to do if they were here? Where is the money coming from? How much should I spend? Do they want burial or cremation? The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home can help you navigate these tough questions. Make your wishes known and allow us to make sure that your wishes are carried out. Call Ryan Hershey or Eric Zelt at 260-724-7167 to schedule an appointment today.
Hi, this is Joel at Decatur Package Liquors, locally owned since 1965. I promise competitive prices and the best service in town. We offer bulk buy discounts for weddings, graduation parties, and other big celebrations. Special orders are also available and highly recommended. Don't forget about Wine Wednesday, where you get the best savings. Come on, guys, it's where your friends shop.
Decatur Package Liquors, with the best service and variety in town, now with locations in Monroe, Byrne, and Markle.
Welcome back once again for our final time here on the Hager Hershey-Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly. We are live again from the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Rex Brewer and Dane Fuelling talking about our long day on the air on Friday at the Girls State Finals. And Dane, I mean, there was some other news media there, but we were the only radio or on-air broadcast team of anything that was there. And Pat Culp made sure that we were successful. We had horrible internet issues, just could not get anything in the building. She sends her team out, and they run over 150-foot long Ethernet cable, hook us up, and we're money the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Our signal was running directly under the girls during the finals, right? Yeah. Our line was directly under the mat as the wrestling was going on, so very symbolic. And as we wrap up our coverage of girls wrestling this season and really shift our focus to the boys season, I have to give a shout-out to the station and our station owner, who could have easily said, no, nobody else is doing this. This isn't worth our time. Of course, we want to give a shout-out to our sponsors, but also to the station for allowing us to have sort of a crazy dream of treating the girls exactly like the boys from every moment that we could. Of course, you know, we didn't go to the Saturday tournaments at New Pal and to these other places, but we did our best to cover as much as we could that fit into our schedule.
How many, like 3 dual meets we did?
We did 3 different dual meets and then the 3 different stages of the state tournament. 6 different nights we brought you girls wrestling on the radio, and I think it was all worth it. And I think when you talk to, or when you listen to the interview here with Mallory as we close out our show tonight, I think you'll see why it was worth it. And I hope that everybody realizes what a treasure Mallory is to this area.
And we're joined now by another state champion. They just keep coming, Mallory Winter. Now, Mallory, I joked a little bit with Lena earlier that you weren't all that happy last week after you won your semi-state title.
You're looking at that cat on the internet called Grumpy Cat that has like 10 million followers. He said you were like Grumpy Cat last week.
Well, she wasn't happy that the match went to overtime, but you guys building a little bit of a rivalry, but sometimes that adds to the fun. You know what the other wrestler is going to do. Sometimes when you're wrestling an unknown opponent and they're able to take you down or score on you, you're like, oh, I didn't even know that she could do that. You knew everything that Turtle's capable of, and you wrestled a very controlled match. You had a counter for every shot that she had, and you end up winning yourself a 3rd state title. So congratulations. We're watching Hannah West right now trying to become a 4-time state champ. Next year, that's going to be you. Everybody's going to be talking about it. When you started wrestling, when you were really young, did you think that you were going to have this type of success?
Kind of. I mean, I knew my brother was always really good, and I always knew that I was going to follow in his footsteps. And I just looked forward to the time on the mat, and I just looked forward to always, like, winning. And so I'm really excited that I've got to
now,
where I've got.
How many times a week, a month, a year do you remind Mason how much better you are than him?
All the time.
All the time.
Last week we were making a joke that Coach Myers, he was like, well, you can tell your brother that you finally got the 4th semi-state for him. So we make fun of him all the time.
That's good. Now O'Neal in on a shot. West in on the sprawl. And O'Neal here trying to avoid the headlock. She puts West on her back. West is on her back. O'Neal, Jaya O'Neal. She's going to take the lead here. 1:15 left. And this would be a huge shocker. We saw a huge shock last year when somebody tried to win a 4th state title. And Mallory, let this be a lesson to you. It's not easier the 4th time around. Everybody's gunning for you. West trying to bridge. O'Neal gets to her knees temporarily. Now she's back on her back. She needs to get her wrists back, and I think West a little bit in shock here.
She can't be up by much.
She puts her hand right in O'Neal's face.
O'Neal's got her wrists completely spread out. 35 seconds left. There she gets to her belly temporarily. 6-3. O'Neal doesn't know what to do now. She doesn't realize she's in the lead, I don't think. Hannah West has 20 seconds to get out and get a takedown to tie it. And she's not looking all that likely right now. We get a stalling call on West, and she's losing.
It took the wind out of her sails.
I think so. 3 seconds left. It's going to be Jaya O'Neal. She's your champion from Brownsburg. And she knocks off 3-time defending state champion Hannah West in the finals. Number 2 over number 1. What an upset here. And what an accomplishment for O'Neal. Well, Mallory, we don't want to jinx you, but just like we said, remember that next year when you get to the finals. Don't take it for granted and see it all the way through every last second, every last takedown, because the opportunity to become a 4-timer does not come along very often, and you and Juliana both will have a chance to do it next year.
So what do you think of some of these younger wrestlers? Turtle, just a freshman. The great ability you're seeing from some of these young freshman wrestlers coming in ranked number 1, number 2. I mean, the level of caliber wrestling has just really come up very quickly in the last 2 to 3 years.
It definitely has. I mean, the numbers are picking up, the quality's picking up. It's just like me and my dad talked earlier today. The competition is just outstanding right now. I mean, you can't get much better than this. I think this is the final step that we needed to take to hopefully get this sanction next year.
Now, does that mean anything to you next year? Having done it 3 times here, is it going to feel something different next year if it's under the IHSAA umbrella?
I mean, I think it'll feel great to be able to be one of the first 4-timers that's sanctioned.
Well, Mallory, we congratulate you on your victory and all the people that were able to listen back home all throughout the day for all of your wins. And we wish you the best of luck. We hope to see you on the softball diamond at shortstop again this year. You're going to be throwing.
Pitcher.
You're going to be throwing.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll look for you on ACAC action this spring on WZBD. And congratulations. Be safe going home.
Thank you.
And Rex, that was once again 3-time state champion Mallory Winter from Jay County. We want to give a shout out to all of our local sponsors who were able to bring all of Mallory's matches in the state title run to the airwaves down in Jay County. And, all to our station's horn again, if every girl had a local radio station that were willing to give them as much press as they deserve, the sport would grow at an even higher pace than what it is right now. And I'm certainly happy that we played our part for Mallory and for all the girls on the Jay County team this year.
And not just local people, but a couple of people come up to you and said, hey, what can I do? And they threw some money towards it, and just a couple of wrestling clubs here and there, but they really appreciate it. And I tell you what, people come up to us, and I mean, no matter who it was that talked to us afterwards, totally thanked us and appreciated truly what we were doing there.
Yeah, I think it just speaks to what the potential is there. If the IHSAA is willing to put their money where their mouth is and to sanction this thing, and they give it a venue that is fitting of an IHSAA state championship, there will be thousands of people who come and treat it like that. Now, if they stick it in some gym on a Friday night during basketball season in the middle of wrestling season, then no, you're not going to get 5,000 or 6,000 people. That's not what's going to happen. But if they actually treat it with the respect that it deserves, you're going to find that it is just as passionate as it is for the boys' state championship in the years down the road.
No, I didn't do a head count myself, but Gary said they sold 5,000 tickets. Now, that place was packed. Round 1, you couldn't walk through the place. So
it was. I had an 8-year-old behind me that was really just sort of.
That girl did more sit-ups on Friday than I've seen anyone do all season long.
Rex, it was a great season on the girls' side of things. I appreciate your passion for the sport and what we were able to accomplish because of it. And I know that there are very few things that get planned out in my family more than a year ahead. One of them is the Al Smith, one of them is Team State, and one of them is, of course, the IHSAA state finals. Already on our calendar for 2025 is the girls' state finals.
I tell you what, we dedicated this show to girls wrestling 3 years ago, and we told everybody we're going to do it, and we stuck to it. After throwing 3 dual meets in this season, I mean, I don't think any radio station in the country covered girls wrestling. I mean, I don't know how you prove that, but I just don't think it was that way. I just don't think there was anybody out there.
And I think there's going to be more next year, and looking forward to it. Hey, don't forget, we want to remind you that on Tuesday we'll have Carroll and Belmont. On Wednesday we'll have South Adams and potentially Adams Central. On Friday we'll have the ACAC tournament, and on Saturday we'll have the NE8 tournament. Then, of course, you'll be able to listen to High School Wrestling Weekly on Sunday. Follow along on WZBD.com for news on tournament seating and results and pictures and highlights, and then, of course, some analysis on the sectional seedings. And then it's the tournament season.
So, Dane, with all that wrestling action going on, we'll blink an eye and we'll be back here at the Double Eagle next week. Once again, tune in for the High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.